What's up, everybody? Damian Brown here with Remax Ocean Point. Look, I want to talk about six mistakes I see home buyers make. Unfortunately, I see them make them all too often, and it ends up costing them lots of time, energy, money, and it's a darn hassle, and it's really painful sometimes. So, best way to not do them is to know them. What's number one? It's not getting pre-approved for a mortgage before you go out and look. So, if you can imagine having a look at 10, 15 homes and not really knowing the scope, only thinking you know what you're able to afford, that's a lot of wasted time. Additionally, if you fall in love with a home and realize you can't close on it, that's even worse. Also, if you do end up moving to the second phase of the next step in the process and you end up closing, you end up in a weaker negotiating stage. And even if you can afford this, you already know it, but you don't have everything set up and the bank still has to go through a longer process. Time can be crucial when closing deals, so just something to think about. Second is not shopping around for mortgage rates or preferable mortgage rates. So the bank can oftentimes sharpen their pencil. Generally, it's for clients they know very well and are worried about losing them to other banks. So just something to think about. If it might not be even the interest rate that they reduce. It might just be a better term. They might chip in on appraisal fees and these kind of things. But I think rather than just seeing the interest rate, signing and being done with it, try to push a little bit more, negotiate a little bit more, because oftentimes it is possible to get a better rate. The third is not getting a professional inspection. It's surprising how often this happens, especially when the market gets hot. You see a bunch of people in the in the open house, and they're looks like they're talking about writing offers. You're thinking, how can I sweeten this? I really want this. I love this home. I've looked around. Everything looks pretty good. Let's forget that. One of the biggest mistakes you can do is exactly that. Why is it? Well, recently there was an article in the news. Do clarify all this and have a look for yourself. But there was an article recently in the news, big one, where an individual bought a home without a home inspection. I believe it was a new build, but what I believe happened, from what I understood, was that they started the project, for whatever reason delayed the project, and then finished the home. And the delay was probably because of financing, who knows. But so what happened is, over time, while it sat there, it didn't get weathered properly, so it started having mold and everything in it. By the time you had everything in, and it looked like a brand new home, but there were spots where you couldn't see it started getting mold, and it just turned out to be absolutely devastating. I mean, I can't even imagine. So financially, emotionally, and otherwise. So just kind of keep that in mind. That can be one of the biggest mistakes, especially when it only costs like $450 to $750 for a home inspection. Not only will you get that peace of mind, you may end up being able to retrade if there's some major issues with the home, where you could avoid it, or you could have the sellers, as part of the deal, go ahead and finish those things off beforehand. But do not skip that process, no matter who says otherwise. I think it's a crucial thing to be focused on. Number 4 is not using a realtor. I mean, look, navigating the murky waters of real estate and sort of keeping yourself out of the trouble that comes with dealing in high stakes real estate transaction, that's an obvious. I don't really tell you about that, but what I think is really important is hiring a seasoned sales practitioner who also is a realtor. Why is that? It's the difference between getting a average deal, a good deal, and a phenomenal deal. Having somebody who's skilled in the art of negotiation, who's been doing it for years, who can also bring to the table, rather than just negotiating, being also able to provide truth to or facts to why that they should be, why they're priced incorrectly and why they should be priced here, and why your offer is indeed the best offer. Again, it's price and terms that sell, so it's not always so being able to negotiate and be able to unlock that Rubik's Cube of negotiations is very, very crucial. And like I said, between getting a average deal and getting a phenomenal one. Number 5 is buying a home before you sell your home. And sometimes it's a necessity, and I understand that, but more often than not, you don't know exactly what your home's going to close for, so you could be looking at homes well below or well above your budget. Additionally, it opens you up to, in my opinion, a lot of risk, and it's even if you go into the negotiating phase, you're generally paying a bit of a premium to have that subject there for someone else to be willing to accept that offer over another. So just food for thought. I think it should be avoided, not at all costs, but it should be avoided if possible. And last but not least, number 6 is knowing the closing costs before going into any one of the transactions. Of course, your realtor will have a conversation with you on that, but really sitting with it for a minute and thinking like, you know, I've got property transfer tax, you know, I've got all these other things that are adding up, and you know, you might get something from the home inspection that we just spoke of that it could require you to spend 15-20 grand to get the home like safe or livable or whatever that might be. So it's really good to understand that even though you're buying the home for X amount of dollars, that's not the final cost, right? So really thinking on that to make sure that it is indeed in your budget. And I think that's a really important thing to really consider, because the last thing you want to do is get into a situation where you're spending more on the home than you anticipated and you can't really enjoy it because you're out working the whole time to try to pay it off. Okay, so look, thanks so much for watching. I would be happy to have a conversation with you to try to find you the right home and make sure that not only are these 6 mistakes not made, but all the other ones that I see that also happen. So look, feel free to reach out. If not, thank you so much for watching and have a great day. See you in the next video. Cheers.